Hello and welcome back to an episode of Generation Films. My name is American Ben. I'll tell you, I'm not a very sensitive person. Amongst the galactic hell we guardsmen find ourselves in, I've trained away all emotions. I no longer require love, affection, or dessert. And neither do I really care anymore what my friends and enemies say about me. I've seen too much, been to too many star systems where humanoid species suffer under the iron hand of some barbaric alien race. But I'll concede, there is one thing still I will not accept being called. There is one word that will draw out the latent rage nestled away in the dark soul that hides within my pallid mortal coil. Heretic. I will not be called heretic. And that's why I am doing today's video, because a few weeks back I did 2 videos on 40K Space Marine Power Armor, and at the time I told you I would do a video on other power armor in 40K as well. And no doubt that in the interim between then and now, the keyboard inquisitors that make up a significant portion of our subscriber base have begun to wonder if they were going to need to pay me a visit. But fear not, citizens of the Imperium, for today we descend back into the chaos, into the great war for mankind, as I carry out my small but essential educational role in living up to the glory of His Holiness. The first armor that we have yet to address is Chaos Power Armor. In the 31st millennium, Imperial Warmaster Horus Lupercal, the Primarch of the Sons of Horus Legion, became corrupted by the ruinous powers of chaos, and he betrayed the Imperium of Man, taking much of the Imperial forces with him. This led to a galaxy-wide civil war known as the Horus Heresy that plagued humanity for 9 Terran years. Of course, the traitor legions took their power armor with them, most of the suits of which would have been Mark IV Maximus power armor and Mark II Crusade power armor. So while Imperial Space Marines moved on to newer, more capable versions of power armor in order to combat the traitor legions, Chaos Marines were stuck in antiquated suits. That said, the Mark IV in terms of capabilities and composition is at least related to modern Space Marine armor, and given the incremental pace at which Space Marine power armor has evolved over the ages, that the traitor legions generally had older model suits did not constitute a catastrophic disadvantage. Additionally, Chaos Marines often loot newer models of power armor from their defeated Loyalist Marine foes, and so they are commonly seen in various models of power armor. Following the defeat of Horus, the traitor legions fled into the Eye of Terror, a warp rift leading into Imperium where the forces of chaos reside. The traitor marines thus became corrupted by chaos, and their armor followed suit, sprouting vines, bony protrusions, and scales. Though such mutations do not necessarily constitute deterioration, the warp seems to have some sort of preserving effect on power armor. That said, I would be hesitant to say that Chaos Power Armor is stronger or more durable than uncorrupted power armor, as the parts that make up Space Marine power armor are proprietary to the Imperium, and as such, Chaos Marines cannot sufficiently repair the armor or easily obtain replacement parts. Additionally, the subsystems within power armor that augment its wearer's abilities need to be maintained, and in many Chaos suits, because of the inability to do so, these systems have become inactive. Next, there's Terminator Armor, or Tactical Dreadnought Armor. In a basic sense, Terminator Armor is a form of advanced power armor, made up of ceramite and plasteel and linked with its wearer's neurological systems. It was developed specifically for use by Space Marine Terminators, named somewhat for the role the suit allows them to fill, that of a walking tank. Terminator armor contains especially thick armor plates and strong servo muscles that allow for enhanced capabilities in close quarters melee combat. The implication here being that the suit sacrifices some mobility for protection and power. Terminator armor is the heaviest armor used by Imperium forces in combat if we don't count Sly Marbo's jawbone. Terminators are often deployed in heavy weapons platform roles on the battlefield, and are used tactically in starships where close encounters with the enemy are inevitable and their armor can take the impact of incoming fire and keep going. Terminators are some of the bravest soldiers on the Imperium's side. Yes, their armor can withstand hits that would penetrate tanks, but let's be clear. If you wear the armor, you are going to be expected to take shots that would penetrate tanks and keep pushing forward. The armor is but a small consolation for having to do incredibly stupid things. Next, we have Ignatus Power Armor. This armor is made specifically for agents of the Inquisition. It's inferior to Space Marine Power Armor in most aspects, given that Inquisitors deal with heretics more than they do the demons of chaos and savage Xenos. However, what Inquisitors lack in physical protection, they make up for in the fortification of their souls, purified by their unwavering faith in the glorious Emperor of mankind. And in any case, Ignatus Power Armor has a lot of similar abilities to Space Marine Power Armor. It's often composed of ceramite plating, augments its user's movements with electrically motivated fiber bundles, houses a power supply in its backpack, and is often, though not always, connected directly to the wearer's neurological systems. In cases where a user isn't linked to the suit via cerebral plugin, the armor's artificial intelligence, known as the machine spirit, can be controlled by simply speaking to it. which, and please don't call me a heretic for this, sounds like a much better option than connecting one's suit to one's organs, but that's just me. The suit's removable helmet is also fully capable. When worn and not removed, it allows its user to see in multiple spectrums of light and to survive in toxic atmospheres, underwater, and even in a vacuum. Best of all, the suit's AI automatically opens exterior vents on power down so that its user doesn't suffocate. And this system works 95% of the time, 20% of the time. Next we have Custodian Armor, the suits worn by the custodians of the Adeptus Astartes, the Emperor's bodyguards during the Great Crusade, a campaign across the galaxy to unite mankind into the Imperium of Man. Custodian armor is highly individualized, as each suit is crafted specifically for its wearer, though they are all composed of a rare alloy known as auramite, a material perhaps even more resilient than ceramite, providing for superb protection. Custodian armor is known for its refraction field generators, which function together as an energy shield that surrounds its user. The field converts the kinetic energy of an impact into harmless light, turning incoming fire into mere flashes. Next we have Aegis Armor, a type of power armor worn specifically by the Grey Knights, a Space Marine chapter blessed with the glorious task of defending humanity by combating the demonic entities of the Warp. They are the military arm of the Ordo Malleus, the branch of the Inquisition concerned with defending the Imperium from chaos demons. Given the special job the Grey Knights have, they need armor with special abilities. The Aegis Armor isn't just protected by plating, but by prayer as well. No, seriously. Thoughts and prayers actually mean something to Grey Knights. The prayers inscribed into the suit endow it with psychic power that works in concert with the natural psychic power of Grey Knight Marines to protect its wearer from the psychic attacks common to the Immaterium and its demonic forces. Along with all this cutesy prayer, Aegis suits are also blessed with the holy gift of a bolter weapon, mounted onto one of the Grey Knight's wrists, which keeps their hands free to wield their two-handed Nemesis Force weapons. Next up we have Artificer Armor, another type of advanced Space Marine power armor. This suit is provided to high-ranking Space Marines such as chapter masters and company captains. There's not many generalizations we can make about Artificer Armor, given that the suits are heavily customized based on the wearer. That said, almost all Artificer suits have specially designed damage control mechanisms and extra dense materials that make them much more protective than your average Space Marine armor. Artificer Armor can probably be compared to Terminator Armor in terms of protection, but is not designed to be used as a heavy weapons platform as Terminator Armor is. Tech Marines who serve as technicians and engineers in Space Marine chapters also wear Artificer Armor that they continually modify. Their version of Artificer Armor often has an assortment of mechanical interfaces and servo tools built in that aid the Tech Marine in carrying out their duties. Next up we have the Adept of Sororitis power armor. The Adept of Sororitis, also known as the Sisters of Battle, are the all-female military arm of the Adeptus Ministorum, the state church of the imperial cult, the state religion of the Imperium of Man. Not unlike the Inquisition, these daughters of the Emperor are the enemies of corruption, using their estrogenetic abilities to hunt down heretics within the Imperium. Forged on Mars, the Adept of Sororitis power armor is much lighter than standard power armor, affording its user superior movement and agility while sacrificing very little in terms of durability. That said, the armor does not offer the same augmentation to strength and advanced life support systems that standard power armor does, but this is less due to the materials of the suit itself and more to do with the fact that the sisters are not cybernetically connected to their suits and thus cannot interface with them the same way Space Marines can. The armor's helmet allows its wearer to operate in a vacuum and has full spectrum filtering and psycho-ocular buffering, which keeps the Adept of Sororitis moving in even the most harsh of conditions. Next we have Routine Armor, the armor worn by the Sisters of Silence, a Great Crusade-era all-female order of Imperial witch hunters who were responsible for hunting down and eliminating psychic Xenos, as well as for aiding the Imperium in enforcing laws regarding the use of psychic powers. As the Silent Sisterhood mostly operated during the Great Crusade, which took place during the late 30th and early 31st millennia, Routine Armor harkens back to some of the earliest versions of power armor, namely the Mark I Thunder power armor, which, like the Sisters' armor, was not fully sealed and thus neither suit allowed for users to operate in a vacuum. Given the limited technology available to the suit's engineers at that time, in order to allow users to have freedom of movement in the armor and even augment their speed, each suit was designed specifically for the sister who would come to wear it. This armor wasn't going to stop a blast from a tank, but it had character and it could stop impacts from most conventional handheld firearms of the time and even some directed energy weapons. Finally, we have Space Wolves Runic Armor. The Space Wolves were one of the original 21st founding Space Marine chapters. They were barbarians who rejected authoritarian rule and embraced the life of the savage. As legend has it, in ancient times the Space Wolves wore highly customized suits known as etheric rune armor, which contained special psycho-etheric induction circuitry that absorbed and nullified psychic attacks. The Wolves believed that it wasn't just the circuitry, but the ritual rune pattern that the circuitry formed that endowed the suit with its protective properties. It was probably mostly the circuitry though. Later in the 41st millennium, the Space Wolves had their rune priests inscribe their modern power armor with runes that provided protection against psychic power. This suit came to be known as a separate armor and was named the Mark 12 Lupio pattern, though in appearance it was closely related with earlier Space Wolves armor. Anyway, to go with the previous videos I did on Space Marine power armor, that's pretty much all of the power armor used by Imperial forces. If there's some that I missed, please do mention them down in the comments below. If you liked the video, do give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell. For now, my name is American Ben. I hope you're all doing well. I'll catch you next time. Generation Films, peace.